Okay, so welcome if you're here. I'll probably have to split this into two because I do have work. I always have work. But this is going to be a very long video about obviously Kelly Dodd and Brandi Glanville. Is it Glanville or Glanville? I never remember. But anyway, I want to talk about these two women, do a comprehensive deep dive, talk about their seasons. Let's get into it. We're gonna get into it, all right? Um, because this is a tale of two housewives, right? Right. Both are very politically incorrect. Both have said wildly offensive things. Both have brought absolute chaos to their respective shows, and both eventually got fired or phased out. But their trajectories, right? How they came onto the shows, who they claim brought them on versus who actually did, the way they behaved, what alliances they made and destroyed, and ultimately how Bravo handled them are completely different stories. And I want to be very clear about this up front, y'all. I have very different feelings about these two women. And I think that's actually part of what makes this comparison very fascinating, why I want to do it. And also, I want to talk about two franchises at once as well. Um, but, anywho, but yeah, so I want to talk about uh, their entire histories on their franchise, season by season, how they got in the cast. I set that part. And then get into why I found one of them genuinely entertaining and the other I have just never liked since day A. Okay? This is going to be very long and detailed, so buckle up, get your snacks, settle in, because we're going to do this properly. Let's get into it. So, we're going to start with Brandi Glanville. Who was she before RHOBH? Before we even get to how Brandi got on the show, let's talk about who she was in the public eye before Real Housewives. It's the morning time. I never get talk in the morning. Okay. Anyway, Brandi Glanville was a model, not a supermodel, but she worked consistently in the 90s and early 2000s. She was married to Eddie Cibrian in 2001. Don't correct me on how to say his last name because I don't care. Eddie was an actor who had roles on various shows. He was on Third Watch, CSI Miami, and various other TV roles. Nothing A-list, but they were working industry people together in Los Angeles. They also had two sons together, Mason and Jake, which I believe are Brandy's only kids. And then in 2009, for Brandi, everything exploded because and Eddie was filming a Lifetime movie called Northern Lights, I believe, and it was with country singer LeAnn Rimes. They had an affair, and it wasn't a very quiet affair. It was a very public, tabloid, documented affair. I guess I could also like just casually look at the like show the pictures or whatever, um, just to kind of give you a mindset of like who I'm talking about. But I didn't prepare for that. So we're gonna keep pushing, okay? Just imagine Eddie. Put him in like a bubble above your head or something like that if you need to remember. Or just Google him yourself. But anyway, so US Weekly, People Magazine, all the tabloids, they were covering it. There were pictures of Eddie and LeAnn together. Eddie was still married to Brandi. LeAnn was also married to her husband, Dean something at the time, and it was just a whole mess. Both marriages ended. Eddie and LeAnn got together publicly, and Brandi became known in the tabloids as basically the wronged wife, the woman whose husband left her for LeAnn Rimes. This is important context because this is the Brandi that arrives on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She comes in with that name being recognized, with public sympathy, and with this built-in storyline about being cheated on, basically dealing with her ex's new wife, and co-parenting while dealing with that betrayal. And of course, we're gonna get to the Sheena Shea of it all because I am a Vanderpump Rules girl. Okay, so let's talk about how she actually got on the show. She got on the show season this second season. I don't remember. But Brandi says in various interviews over the years that she was friends with the women socially, that she knew Lisa Vanderpump, that these are the circles that she ran into. These are just her girls. And there could be some truth to that, because apparent Los Angeles social circles really do overlap. But if you actually watch the second season, I believe, Beverly Hills, the way Brandi is introduced to viewers is actually through Cedric Martinez, which is the T child, because Cedric Martinez, if you are a fan of the show, you know he was there from day A, day one. He comes in with Lisa and Ken, and we get to see this dynamic of Lisa being like, I have my gay best friend who lives with me as well. Because love Lisa Vanderpump, but she definitely feels like the type to like keep a pocket in her. You know what I'm trying to say? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. I don't agree with that mentality. But you know how some rich white people be. Rich people, in fact, actually. Um, and and honestly, like a little bit. I'm not saying that this is what she did, but I think it's a very exploitative way to befriend someone sometimes is like only through their sexuality and like through like the like that dynamic. I don't know. It kind of skews me the wrong way. But that's just my personal opinion. Um, but yeah, but anyway, the Vanderpumps, they basically took him in, supported him, treated him like family. If I'm remembering correctly, they sponsored him for his citizenship from the UK. Because Lisa, if you don't know, Lisa and Ken are both from the UK. They're both British. They both have their accents, strong, heavy, even to this day. But by season 2, as we all can guess, because when you have someone living with you, this is typically what happens. It doesn't go well. Like, how many times we've seen somebody live with someone and it go well? Barely, ever. Okay, it's always some drama. It's always some issues, which is difficult because as the times are getting tougher, it is harder for people to live alone. But it is just all the most obvious in the history of just history that a lot of times cohabitating with other people just not always the best move to make. But let's I digress. So by season 2, Cedric Martinez and Lisa and Ken, whatever, they've had a really bad falling out. Um, and Cedric's no longer living with them, and actually he's going to the tabloids and speaking very negatively about Lisa and Ken. And Cedric is the one who brings Brandi around the women initially. And this is what makes it a very weird storyline because there's already this weird dynamic from the jump where Brandi's being introduced by someone who's actively feuding with Lisa Vanderpump, but then Brandi and Lisa quickly become close friends, and it's a very strange origin story that never quite made sense because I don't think they were really real friends like that. I think it became real maybe at a certain point, but anyway. So in season 2, Brandi is a friend of the Housewives. She's not a main cast member. And honestly, in this season, she's relatively sympathetic, I think. She shows up to events. She's open about her divorce. I can never speak. I told y'all this. She's open about her divorce struggles. Like, I know how to say that word. But she talks about how she's in a smaller house now because she can't afford the same lifestyle she had when she was married to Eddie. I was trying to think, like, how many episodes did he do in CS Miami? How much did Eddie really, like... I digress. Let me stop. But she starts talking about dealing with Leanne Rhymes of it all, being around her children, and how painful that is. There's a whole storyline, I think, as well about her writing a book that was called Drinking and Tweeting and Other Brandi Blunders. I don't know how that did, but it's about her divorce and her life falling apart. And she's very crass. She talks about sex openly. She swears a lot. She's inappropriate at times. But it reads as someone to me who's been through trauma and is dealing with it in a very raw, unfiltered way. And then there's the whole Sheena of it all. Every time I think about Sheena Shea, oh my gosh, good as gold. And I'm thinking about the screamo version because that screamo version is the bee's knees. I'm not gonna lie. I want a screamo version of every Housewives songs now. Like I want Candace Dillard to give me a screamo version of one of her songs. Can we get it, please? I'm gonna every time I talk about Sheena, I will bring up the fact that I want me a Candace Dillard screamo remix. And if there's any housewife that's gonna give me a screamo remix that's not Sheena, because Sheena's not a housewife, but Sheena could be a housewife. It is most definitely Candace Dillard. I can. My brain is just, you know what? Maybe I'll do one of them AI things, and maybe I'll change right back or something like that. Can I do that? Will I get copyrighted? Probably. But Candace, don't do it to me. I'm a fellow sister. Okay. I'm black, but not in the way of we're not in the way of Kelly Dodd. I'm actually black. Anyway, so I digress a lot. And this is why this video is going to take me forever to do. And it's definitely going to have to be in 2 parts. So, probably 3. Because I only got an hour between most of my shifts today. Actually, yeah, this one won't be finished, but I'll still put it up. And I'll just have to notate where I left off talking. And then I'll upload. And I'll record the second part after my next shift. And that should be it. Because I think I should have enough time between 10:30 and 12 o'clock to... Actually, 10. Yeah, that's enough time. That's enough time. We're not gonna be for 3 hours. What am I talking about? Okay, but if I keep digressing, maybe we will be. Let me get back to what we're talking about. I'm so sorry. So Sheena Shea was a working as a server at Villa Blanca, which is Wonder Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant. And it comes out that Sheena had an affair with Eddie before LeAnn Rimes. Like, Sheena was one of the Eddie affairs while he was married to Brandi. And so, of course, this starts some issues. I don't remember if it actually happened or if it was just rumored, but I think there is something about like her slapping her. I don't think this is on camera, but I think it was discussed. But regardless of the slap or not, the whole cheating scandal, the Sheena shade, the Brandi, the conflict of it all, it does become the origin story for Vanderpump Rules, which is very exciting, honestly. And Lisa, she's kind of in an awkward position because Sheena works for her, but Brandi's becoming her friend. And this tension is a part of what eventually leads to the Brandi Lisa falling out, but it doesn't happen until a lot later. Um, so then we get into the Kyle Richards friendship. Brandi also becomes very friendly with Kyle Richards in season 2. They bond, they go to events together, and Kyle seems to think that Brandi is fun and a good addition to the group. But even in season 2, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know if I'm trying to say like season 2 of Brandi being there, because I don't believe Brandi was in their season. Yes, she was, because never mind, I take it back, because the Adrian Malouf thing happens. Yeah, so I think she was there season 2. Um, but Brandi also becomes very friendly with Kyle Richards. But even in season 2, you can see glimpses of what Brandi's going to become because she says those inappropriate things. She doesn't read the room well, and she can be very aggressive when she drinks. So by the end of season 2, Brandi is now popular enough with the viewers and she brings enough drama that Bravo decides to make her a full-time housewife. When I do these videos, I think I want to start also like I need to like make a document with everybody's tagline and what season their tagline was, because I also like to like follow like the history of their taglines. And another digressing moment, um Lisa Vanderpump, to me, to this day, still has one of my favorite taglines ever. And I think it was like, if you're gonna stab me in the back, you might as well kiss my ass while you're back there or something. And I was like, I like that, actually. I like that. All right, moving on. So by the end of season 2, she's done enough drama that she is now full-fledged housewife in the 3rd season. So season 3 is where Brandi really becomes Brandi, the unfiltered, controversial, problematic presence that will define her run on the show. See, Brandi and Lisa Vanderpump are now very close. Honestly, I love the dynamic between Brandi, Lisa, and Ken. The flirting was fun. It just felt very harmless. I love when she called her boyfriend. I love when Lisa was like, "Get away from him," or sometimes like, "You can have him." Like me and him, because Lisa's jokes a lot of times are like that they never have sex. They're like, sex only happens like on her like his birthday, if that, and stuff like that. And it's just a very fun dynamic. Like I don't really care if they have sex or not. I could care less. But I just enjoyed the scenes and some of the lines, and it just led to very funny moments, like very laugh out loud moments. But Lisa and Brandi seem to have this alliance that seems unbreakable. Lisa calls Brandi my little pet, and there's this dynamic where Lisa seems to be mentoring Brandi in some ways, but it also is very clear that Lisa also enjoys having someone loyal to her who will have her say the things that Lisa's too smart to say herself. I feel like for Lisa, she benefited because it almost felt like I get to have how I would like Kyle to be for me at that time period of their lives. I think very early on, Lisa started to realize and see that Kyle is Kyle, and Kyle was not going to be someone's little pet ever. There was never going to be a mentor dynamic between. That's a Capricorn. You ain't about to tell Kyle Capricorn. That no said, okay. But anyway, um, and so Brandi also allies with Kim Richards after the drama over Adrian Malouf's surrogate secret. Because if y'all don't remember, Adrian Malouf little secret or whatever was the fact that she actually did not give birth to her kids. It was a surrogate, but I think I'll get into that later. Um, because I don't remember if the Joyce situation happened, Carlton Joyce happened before or after. Some of the stuff gets very like confusing. But anyway, we see a pattern that emerges where Brandi goes after people and accusations fly that Lisa's pulling the strings. So now we get into, see, this is where I think I do have some things mixed up. But I'm not about to come here and redo this again. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Fact check me if you want to. Anyway, so I do think it's season 4 or I think it's season 4. So much happens so fast with RHOBH, like with the Camille misunderstanding or purpose understanding of Kyle and Adrian getting upset about who was it? About Lisa's daughter, I believe, Pandora, having her event or something. Because this is so long ago, guys. But having her event or something at another casino was also drama. But for some reason, not Jacqueline, Joyce and Carlton feel like they happened like later in the show, but not like not Yolanda time frame, I guess you would say. I'm getting my wires very crossed. But we're gonna stop there digressing because, like I said, I have work. Um, so the Joyce situations happens, and Brandi really seems threatened from the start when Joyce walk up in there because Joyce is gorgeous child. Um, oh, that's why I said Jacqueline because Joyce or Brandi keeps calling her Jacqueline instead of Joyce, and it happened so often that it was clearly intentional. That's right. She kept pretending like she didn't know her name. She sometimes didn't all floods back. And then there was also like this time, I think they were like somewhere, I forgot, but they were like at a pool or something, and Brandi wanted to call herself making comments about black people not being able to swim, and she splashed water at Joyce. You're talking to the wrong black woman, Brandi. You should be talking to Kelly. I'm black. Thank you, Kelly. You know, most people who are black don't have to scream, I'm black, to let us know they're black. Just to let you know. But I still love the comment. It still just took me out. But yeah, I think Brandi made a comment something about like not knowing if Joyce's hair would float or sink because of extensions. And then she made a comment about black people not being able to swim. And just because I can't swim and I'm black, I'm gonna digress, move on, okay? So anyway, but yeah, like it felt racist. It felt uncomfortable. And Brandy's defense was that she was joking and that people were too sensitive, which is normally a defense that an a-hole would make. So there you go. But anyway, the whole season, Brandi just kind of makes multiple comments about Joyce's ethnicity, her hair, her background, and it was just kind of really gross to watch. Um, so now we're gonna talk about, because regardless of the seasons, whatever. Maybe we're not talking about it in chronological order, but we're just gonna talk about it. Then we got Adrian Malouf and we got the Kim Richards situation. So there's major drama with Adrian Malouf because there was tension between Lisa and Adrian. I'm gonna even stop just talking about the season. I'm just talking about the situation that happened. So y'all ignore the seasons. They hit number gone. There we go. Even there's no number 3. We're gonna ignore both those, okay? Um, but basically there's this major drama with Adrian Malouf. And so Brandi, she made the comment about Adrian, her children, and it's heavily rumored and basically confirmed that Brandi said something about Adrian using a surrogate for her children, which Adrian wanted to keep private. She didn't want her kids to know that. And so Adrian threatens to sue Brandi. And there's this whole thing where some of the comments are bleeped out on the show because of legal threats. And Adrian ends up actually leaving the show after a certain season. And Brandi is a big part of why. And so then we get to the Kim Richards situation. Brandi also becomes very close with Kim Richards during this or another season, which is very significant because Kim Richards is dealing with deep sobriety issues. Don't forget, Kyle and Kim are both sisters, and Kyle is very protective of her sister Kim. And Kyle starts to become very concerned about Brandi's influence on Kim because Brandi's very open about drinking and partying. And I don't know if y'all remember that time they was playing games or something, and Brandi put her hands on Kyle, and Kyle said, "Girl, I'm a Capricorn. Don't you put your hands on me." She ain't said like that, but that's what I felt. That goat said, "Is that what a goat sound like?" I don't know, but oh, y'all saw just all had 100 sides talking about these heifers. That's a lot. I went overboard. Okay, sorry. Um, I have no self control over here, but anyway, this plant seeds for future Brandi and Kyle attention because they really get into it. Kim, uh, then Brandi had crutches. I think Kim may have hit them. Actually, I think I'm getting the poker night mixed up with the game night. Those are two different circumstances. The game night, I think, was the first occasion they all hung out. I don't remember whose house they were at, but they were somebody's house, child. Because all these women do is change houses, like they change clothes. So I cannot keep it up, okay? But they all were playing some game night, and it was basically like Kim and Kyle were making fun of Brandi. This is the first situation I'm talking about. I think that happened first, and Brandi was on crutches, and I think uh Kim kept going to the bathroom and stuff, and Brandi, that's when she made the under your nose accusations, under your nose accusations. I don't know what you can say on YouTube, but she made those type of accusations, which really made the block hot. And then the second situation I'm thinking about is the poker game, where Brandi and Kim are closer now, and Kyle's not too keen on it about her influence on her sister. So Brandi established herself as someone willing to say anything. Some viewers, they love her as real and unfiltered. Others, they saw a pattern of her crossing lines, racism, exposing private information, aggression. But either way, at this point, she was a very central figure on RHOBH. So then we're just, oh, see, I get ahead of myself, do I not? Um, so if you remember how Brandi and Kyle were friends, that's definitely over by season 4, because this is what I'm talking about, the Palm Springs trip. That's what it was. So Kyle, she's getting very paranoid and concerned about Brandi's friendship with Kim, because there are incidents where Brandi and Kim are out partying together, and Kyle worries that Brandi's enabling Kim's issues with alcohol. So Brandi, she feels like Kyle is being controlling. She's a Capricorn, of course she's gonna be. And treating Kim like a child. Ain't nothing worse than a Capricorn being the younger sister, but then having the middle sister be slightly more irresponsible with her life. So Kyle definitely is like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, there's just a lot of like compensation there that's definitely going to be happening. And Kyle feels like Brandi's being a bad influence on her sister, who is in recovery. I don't remember if she's in recovery at this point completely. But either way, their friendship deteriorates through season 4, and it gets nasty. Brandi makes comments about Kyle's family, and Kyle makes it clear she does not trust Brandi, and that the alliance is done, is completely broken. And then that trip to Palm Springs in season 4 is absolutely chaotic. The women are staying in a house, tensions are high, Brandi's heavily drinking, there's arguments, there's crying, there's drama about who said whom to what, to whom mama, to who daddy, and Brandi is still at the center of most of it. But at this point, she's still Team Lisa. Throughout all this, Brandi remains fiercely loyal to Lisa Vanderpump. No matter what accusations are thrown around about Lisa manipulating situations, Brandi always has Lisa's back at this point. And this is important because it makes what happens in season 5, I think I'm getting my season numbers correct, shocking, controversial, but still bringing ratings. So Bravo said, hey, if it ain't broke, why fix it? Let's keep it going on to season 5. So this season 5 is where Brandi starts to make a fatal mistake that will eventually lead to her being phased out of the show. So we had some new blood in this time frame. We had Eileen Davison, who I love. She's a Pisces, so I love her. I'm a Pisces too. And we got Lisa Rinna. She had one line I really hated, that, and her line was first of that season, and I spent that entire season just like being very annoyed by her. It was like, my lips are made for talking, and that's just what they'll do. And there was something about it being like the first line and the way she said it, and I could never get to the skip that part button fast enough. When I was rewatching, so I always had to rehear it, and I was just like, oh my gosh. Now I'm confused. Okay, so Palm Springs was not poker night. This would happen in season 5, I believe. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Yes, it did. Because the situation that was occurring was the place that they were, when I was trying to remember where they are, because I said the girls changed their house, like they changed clothes. It was Eileen's house, because if I remember correctly, Brandi was talking shit about the lady house and about the style of it and all that type of stuff. Side note though, I really like little Eileen. Her eyes are so beautiful, and I'm normally not even like into people who have like bright color eyes. They normally look kind of creepy to me a little bit. No offense to anybody without their blue eyes and green eyes. Sometimes they look kind of creepy if they're like super bright. But something about Eileen's just really fit her, and like, I don't know, it just made her look so like interesting when she cried. Which makes her a wonderful soap opera actress, or whatever. But moving along, so Eileen Davison and Lisa Rinna. And Lisa Rinna is another actress, another soap opera icon. Also, she's married to Harry Hamlin, and she ain't never gonna let you forget it. But good on her, because Harry Hamlin is a catch, okay? But anyway, so now we have fresh blood and we have fresh dynamics. So early in the season, there's discussion about tabloid stories that have been coming out on some of the women. There's these rumors about Marcio cheating on Kyle, and stories about various women and questions about where these stories are coming from. And a lot of the women are starting to suspect that someone in the group is selling stories or planting them. And the fingers started pointing at Lisa Vanderpump. And that's where I think a lot of the people got it wrong, because they were trying to say, oh, Lisa is getting a check for snitching. I don't think Lisa needed a check. That's where I think people got it wrong. I think Lisa could just do it for free and do it for fun. I don't really think she need to get paid. And so, but y'all all have to add some monetary amount to it for a fact that she made, which makes it very easy for them to be like, I didn't get paid. That didn't mean I ain't do that shit though. Okay, I'm not saying she did. And allegedly. But that was just my feeling about it at the time. Was that she wouldn't need the $25,000, like, for the, like, she could just, because that also creates a paper trail. Like, why? And that's not a small amount of money either. Like, that creates a decent paper trail. So why would I take money like that, unless I'm like doing some type of agreement where maybe there's some other benefit? I could see that, like, you know, People Magazine, you guys have to bring all of, I don't even know what People Magazine, I remember who it was, but whatever magazine, y'all have to bring all of your people to my restaurants or whatever. Like, who knows. But moving along, because I really ran out of time. I got 20 minutes left. I was hoping I would like be able to do all the Brandi slides before I have to go back to work, but I mean, I'd be able to finish with Brandi because now I'm just like so much in talking. How long have we been here? Let me see, because I can only see it through here. 26 minutes. Okay. It's a lot to talk about Brandi, but I'm not talking about just about Brandi. I'm talking about like the show, and I like this. Like, this is why I like doing a breakdown like this. But let's get back to the story. So, Brandi, who has been Lisa's most loyal friend, she starts to turn. She starts suggesting that Lisa has been manipulating her, using her to do the dirty work and possibly planting stories. And this is shocking because for 3 seasons, Brandi has been the ride or die for Lisa. So then we have the Eileen wine incident at a poker party. Did this happen at a poker party? Because I feel like this happened somewhere else. Why do I feel like the wine incident? You know what, guys? Will you guys just like Google with me for a second? Can we just like Google really quick? This is gonna take me out of it. Okay. Can we just like Google for a quick second? And if you're curious, yes, this is how I make my slides. I like literally like have my thoughts thought out, and then I ask this to put it together for me. So I just pulled the curtain back on that one. Oh no, all my secrets are exposed. Brandi, wine, throne, Eileen. Because my brain is seeing that happen not at her house. Because it wasn't at her house. So these are 2 separate incidents. There's Joyce. But I said at the poker party. I'm sorry. Anyway, we know this happened, and I don't think it was not at the poker party. But Eileen Davidson, she mentions her relationship with her husband Vince. Um, and this is when the wine throwing happens, because Eileen and Vince, they got together when he was still married to someone else, and they had an affair, and he left his wife, and they eventually got married. And so Brandi, she keeps asking invasive questions like, how long was the affair? Did you feel guilty? When did he leave his wife? And Eileen, she gets very uncomfortable, saying that she don't want to talk about it. And Brandi, she just kind of keeps pushing, and then Brandi throws wine in Eileen's face. She just throws it at this relatively new housewife who's done nothing to Brandi except refuse to ask some weird behind questions about her personal relationship history. So Eileen is shocked. Everyone is shocked. And Brandi's response is basically that Eileen was being too uptight and that she needed to loosen up. And it's aggressive. And it's uncalled for. And it literally makes Brandi look very unhinged. Because, like, we like the drama, but we like the drama to come from somewhere. So, like, ooh, look at that drama. We don't like drama that just, like, comes like day A, and it's just, other than that, like, then it makes you just seem like very unhinged. So I'm not sure if this is the exact storyline, but I don't, let me just like Google. I just want to fact check from now on. Cause see, like, I don't really, like, my brain doesn't even remember Yolanda being in the same, um, I'm going to be spelling Amsterdam wrong, so don't judge me. Amsterdam, RHOBH season. Oh my gosh, I only got like less than 15 minutes before I was. There's a Real Housewives of Amsterdam? Interesting. How do you have way more color over there when I feel like a lot of people just really assume that, like, that's not really the case. Okay. I only got Dang it. Less than 15 minutes before I gotta start my shift. Okay, it did happen in season 15. All right. We are on board. All right. We are accurate. Sorry to do this with you guys and break like the fourth wall if that occurs in this slideshow. But very quickly, we're going to talk about the Amsterdam trip, and then you know what? Nope, I can't finish it. I can't finish Brandi in this go ahead because we have to talk about what happened reportedly on the ultimate girls trip for Morocco. So I'm not gonna have enough time to do that before my next shift. So let's just go ahead and finish up this one really quick, and then we will get to it. So the Amsterdam trip happens, right? So the season 5 trip to Amsterdam is where everything completely falls apart. The women go to Amsterdam, and by this point, the team is basically divided. We got Team Lisa Vanderpump versus Team everybody else, mostly Kyle, Brandi, Lisa Rinna, and somewhat Eileen. And in Amsterdam, Brandi goes hard at Lisa Vanderpump because she's basically accusing Lisa of being a manipulator, of using her, of being fake. But then, and this is where Brandi really crosses a line, she starts to make comments about Lisa and Ken's personal life and their sex life. She makes really crude jokes about their marriage, about Ken, and it's really disrespectful and really gross. Lisa Rinna is also going after Lisa Vanderpump in some comments Lisa allegedly made. Lisa V allegedly made about Yolanda's children. I think it was about her kids not actually having child. What was I about to say? Alzheimer's? Munchausen? No, they were saying that Yolanda had Munchausen by proxy, and that Yolanda's kids did not actually have. I forgot what it's called, but I hope they're good. But anyway, by the end of the Amsterdam trip, Lisa Vanderpump and Brandi's friendship is completely over, and Lisa makes it clear that she wants nothing to do with Brandi anymore. And this is also where I'm getting like a little confused and where I'm trying to go at because I don't think I remembered everything correctly. Oh my gosh. Because I'm thinking about a beach and they were not on the beach at Amsterdam. I'm thinking about when there were those tabloids that Brandi said that she had put in the bag. Oh, did that happen later? Maybe that's it. But that's another situation I think I actually forgot to talk about. Let me see, because then I go into the reunion, the phase out. Yeah, so I did not get into that part. There's this one point where um I think they're traveling somewhere and Brandi tells Kyle, or somehow it comes out that Brandi was saying that, oh, before this trip, Lisa tried to stuff some of the tabloids up in my bag, before we left, so we could all be like, ooh, look at Marcio cheating on you, and the rumors and stuff like that, which made Kyle feel very emotional. Because I don't know if it was before or after, but at some point in time, like Ken and Kyle and Lisa and Marcio were traveling together and doing those type of trips together, going to some real nice places, child. Um, but yeah, so all that situations were happening, and it just made for like a very crazy moment. I do not think that happened in Amsterdam. So I think I'm just always completely wrong when I talk about these people. But it's just so hard because since I have been going through these rewatches, and my RHOBH rewatch came before my Real Housewives of Orange County rewatch. And so for some reason, my brain, every time I think about Amsterdam, my brain automatically only takes me to when I think it was Kelly who said something to Tamra in a store. You know, I don't think that trip was in Amsterdam. That trip may have been like in Ireland or something else. But I don't know my locations that much, okay? But I just remember there was like this argument or this conflict that happened that Kelly said something about Tamra's daughter or something. And I just remember like they, of course, didn't show us them in the shop that they were in. They just showed us like what they were saying in the store with like their mics or whatever. But again, like I said, I'm not about to be going back here and recording all this stuff. This is just a fun little thing where I'm coming to talk about Housewives every now and then on this little channel. So we just gonna keep it pushing and let our mistakes stay where they at. Okay, just like when I called John Jim. Yes. See, the J's also mix me up. I did a video about Shannon Bedore's lawsuits, and I accidentally called John Jim, because I was talking about Jim Bellino, John Jansen, Alexis Bellino, Shannon Bedore, and Tamara Judge, and the whole lawsuit shit. but or shit. I try not to cuss because I don't really know what YouTube lets you do. But anyway, we have digressed so far. Um, so one of the reunions, I think it was the last one, was very brutal to Brandi. I don't really remember Brandi like leaving. I barely remember it. But she has no real allies left. Kyle doesn't trust her. Lisa Vanderpump won't even look at her. Eileen is still just upset about the wine child, which I would be too. And Lisa Rinna's chaotic, but she's also not really on Brandi's side. Even Kim Richards, who was once close to Brandi, is having her own issues with her and hasn't actually been Team Brandi anymore this time. And Brandi tries to defend her actions, but she just comes across as being very mean spirited. So the result is all her bridges are burned. That's all her bridges are burned. I didn't mean to say that either. Um, but more the London entertainer and her time on the show. At this point, it was like very clearly running out. It was like, what else can we do with you? Because no one likes you. Like no one likes you. So she kind of starts to phase out. And she only appears in a few episodes in reduced capacity. She's not asked back on the show as a full-time housewife. I believe after season 5, and the show just moves on. New housewives, new dynamics, and her appearances are minimal, and they're just kind of basically wrapping up the loose ends. You know what I'm saying? So after that, we kind of see the desperate years. 2015, she apparently does a appearance on Celebrity Apprentice. She appears on it, gets into drama with other contestants. She gets fired pretty early. Apparently, it's not a good showing. I didn't watch. Another one I didn't watch, Famously Single, a reality TV show about celebrities looking for love. It's on E, and it's relatively low tier reality TV. Brandi apparently appears on it for 2 seasons. I should tell you a lot. Celebrity Big Brother UK. She goes on the UK version of Celebrity Big Brother. I never knew this either, which also is a completely different vibe from US reality TV. I love Big Brother, but I do not watch Celebrity Big Brother. I don't care who's on it. She doesn't win, and it's clear she's struggling to find her footing outside of Housewives. From the clips I saw, child. And then she starts a drinking and tweeting podcast, apparently, where she tries to launch podcast content, but it never gains major traction. And I think the guest spots on Vanderpump Rules was pre-Lisa, actually, so that shouldn't be here either. But I could not remember completely. And there's no way I'm going to go back and look at everything. I guess I could have asked AI, like, exactly what happened and have it remind me and put it in order. Actually, I probably could have done that instead of, like, trying to go off my, like, raw notes and putting all my thoughts and then, like, make the slideshow and then talk about it. I guess I could have done that, but I didn't. So maybe I'll do that next time, and I'll try to be like very more accurate with the season and when happens when. But you know, you also live and you learn. Anyway, so this is the one I don't know if I have enough time to talk about it. Maybe I do. Maybe we can. Let's go ahead and just talk about it because then that would that close out Brandi for me. That would close out Brandi for me. Let me go ahead and talk about it. I can also be like 5 minutes late to work, so we may just have to be like a few minutes late. So I can just go ahead and finish. Okay. Um, but so there's a show called Ultimate Girls Trip, um, and it happens in 2023. So in January 2023, Bravo, they end up filming The Real Housewives Ultimate Trip season 4 in Morocco, and this cast included Brandi Glanville, Carolyn Manzo from Real Housewives of New Jersey, another franchise I love, and other housewives from various seasons. This season was supposed to be Brandi's return to the Bravo universe after being phased out of Beverly Hills, and it was supposed to be a redemption opportunity and a chance to show that she could still bring the drama that made her valuable in the first place. But instead, it actually became the incident that ended her Bravo career permanently, child. So, what allegedly happened, so according to reports in Carolyn Manzo's subsequent lawsuit, during a party while filming in Morocco, Brandi allegedly mounted Caroline on a couch and forcibly kissed her. That's not Caroline's thing to me. Like, I don't believe Caroline would be into that, especially not with the camera around. Maybe in her personal life she would, but not with the camera around. Absolutely do not believe that Caroline would be into any of this. But so allegedly she groped, grabbed, and forcibly fondled Caroline's vagina and breast and then Caroline went to the bathroom and Brandi allegedly followed her, pinned her up against the door, and continued touching her inappropriately. Kind of makes me, you know what I didn't talk about? The Denise of it all, because that's when she came back. I forgot she came back until just now, until this very second. I forgot that Brandi comes back and the whole Denise thing happens. Okay, so I have to add that in later. I have to make a side note. I'm not gonna make a side note right now. I'll remember. I'll just write Denise. Who is so weird. Look, looking. Like she kind of looks like she looks like queer, like a fake like alien to me sometimes, like just like her mannerisms and stuff. In a way I like. I don't mean that in a bad way. Oh my gosh, what time is it? Okay. So Caroline apparently went to the bathroom. Brandi allegedly followed her. She pinned her up on the gift store. She continued touching her appropriately. Caroline was reportedly crying for help during this, and producers allegedly heard the interaction over the audio equipment, but they did not intervene. And so both women left the production earlier, and the season was shut down, and it has actually never been released. So Caroline Manzo filed a lawsuit in 2024 against Bravo, NBC Universal, and Warner Brothers. Notably, she did not name Brandi as defendant. And her lawsuit, it alleges that the networks created a hostile work environment, that producers deliberately piled cast members with alcohol to encourage outrageous behavior for ratings. That's not the first time. The second, third, fifth, fourth, sixth, the 18th. We done heard that every single day, and we believe it, and it makes sense. Not that it should happen, but it makes sense that they do this. But producers heard what was happening over the audio, but they failed to intervene or protect her, and the incident was very traumatic. Caroline, which is insane because she had her own show beyond Real Housewives of New Jersey. She had her own franchise or her own spinoff that actually like lasted for like 3 or 4 seasons. That featured just her family, which some people may think, oh, that's so common, but it's actually not that common for a housewife to get their own, like to get your own show on a show that already is about showing your life. Sometimes it can kind of be a redundant situation to do that, but she got one, which is a pretty big deal to me. But because of this, Caroline has stated that she will never return to the Housewives franchise again, which is why I think that's a really big deal, because when they're willing to give someone her own show, like that shows a lot of belief and like just a lot of like investment, not even belief, but investment in a housewife. Um, and so for her to state that she'll never return to the Real Housewives again, I think that even makes what Brandi did worse, because it's like, yo, that's someone that like I feel like they would feel like it's their girl when it comes to Caroline. Um, but anyway, so Brandi's lawsuit or her response is that she's vehemently denied any wrongdoing, and her defense includes that she was claiming she followed producers' directions. She alleged the situation was a setup, and she accused of Bravo failing to protect her. Brandi subsequently filed her own lawsuit against Bravo, claiming the network contributed to her career spiraling and failed to support her in the aftermath. You know what? Side note, I'm gonna break it off real quick. No, Brandi, what I think actually led to your downfall, first of all, was being the person with the human character that you kind of showed us on the show, which was not the best, okay? And then second of all, like a lot of us, you didn't spend your money right in my eyes, like or use your opportunities in a proper way in my eyes. I feel like you had a lot of different times in your life where you could have really grabbed the reins and rolled them heifers, okay, and rolled off into the sunset with money on money on money. But from the way it looked to me from the outside, it looked like you never really had your priorities in the right place in the first place. Um, and it really sucks to me for you to do that, because you had a platform to do what you could have done, and you didn't use that platform that you had to do what you could have done. And that's my personal opinion. And that's why your career spiraled, okay? Because there were plenty of times, opportunity, plenty for, first of all, for you to not keep going this trajectory you were going with your character and the way you were showing yourself. Like, don't be biting every single hand that feeds you. And that's exactly what you did to Lisa to me. I'm not saying Lisa's a good person or Lisa's the best person. She should be held up on a pedestal, because I don't believe that. I don't believe nobody should be held on a pedestal. Not myself, not nobody. But at the same time, I do believe that you had someone like Lisa was willing to have your back as long as you had hers, and you threw her under the bus when you shouldn't have. And it really just derailed your entire progress of having a career. And when you realized what you had done, you could have course corrected, and you never did, in my eyes and in my opinion. That's what led to that spiral. Okay? Allegedly, in my opinion. Moving along. So the personal fallout for Caroline, this incident, it was serious enough that Caroline, who was on RHONJ for multiple seasons and was one of the part of the franchise's most iconic families, she got her own stuff. Her Caroline got some skill. I ain't saying Caroline perfect either. None of these heifers are. But she has permanently walked away from all Real Housewives content, which just tells you how traumatic that was for her. For Brandi, the fallout has been devastating in multiple ways. Her career, she's completely blacklisted from Bravo, cut off completely. I don't think she can be on Watch What Happened Live, child. Everybody can come on now. I bet you even Sarah Michelle Gellar can come back on now after what she said about Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I know she made Andy mad. Andy said, "Heifer, don't be talking about my show in my studio. What you doing? Go to your own house and talk. SHIT, okay? Don't talk in my house." But Mental health. Brandi has shared publicly that the cancel culture and allegations led to severe depression and suicidal thoughts. Her physical health during the same period. Brandi also experienced a serious health scare involving facial disfigurement. Woo! She initially feared it was a parasite. It was recently discovered that the issue was caused by ruptured breast implants that were clogging her lymph nodes. That sucks because her face is messed up. And I do think it's a little bit for sometimes what you put out into the world. I'm not trying to say she deserves what's happened to her face, but we're going to get into it and I'll talk about it a little bit later, okay? I, she does not deserve what happened to her face. I don't think anyone does. But at the same time, like, sometimes I don't know, I feel like when you're just like a certain person, like, and you just treat people a certain way, that sometimes, and then like I just like feel like the way she valued her beauty, I feel like the way she looks on the outside, I feel like it made her feel like she could be as nasty as she wanted on the inside and treat people as nasty as she wanted because of the way she looked. And life will humble you sometimes. Anyway, so present day where Brandi is now. Currently, Brandi's not on Bravo. Oh, there's no way maybe we'll finish like talking about this. Okay, you know what? We're gonna stop here where Brandi is now. And I will be back here after my shift. Thank you for talking to me so far. Bye bye.